on these faded banners, stand on colors black and gold, handing down to us prepare to be cherished year by year. Hail, hail, Excelsior high, always may our glory be shouted to the sky. On behalf of the Marker family, Marty, Christy, Andrew, and Kana, thank you for coming out today to honor the life of Noah Marker. Every one of us has a different memory of Noah, and today you will hold them all, and you will do it tomorrow, the next day, the next day. And I would encourage you simply that you cherish those memories, share those memories, because even though he's not physical with us, he is eternal with us. So it is my privilege to help walk us through a journey of life that none of us want to deal with necessarily, but it's a reading from the Shepherd King of Israel. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise, and perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, then. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I wake, I am still with you. And then from the Apostle Paul, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his. Join me. Heavenly Father, we acknowledge the fact that you know every thought and emotion and raw nerve that we are experiencing at this very moment. And so I would pray simply for comfort for each and every one of us who's experiencing that. Not only at this moment, but in the hours and days and weeks and months and years ahead. For all of us, Noah has left an indelible mark upon our life. And we so appreciate those marks pressed deep into our lives. This time, Mr. Crusade will join us on the stage for song.
Hello, I'm Drew Six, and some years back I was approached by Variety and Children's Charity to write a song inspired by the organization. And in my time working with that amazing organization, I was blessed to be around Noah and his infectious energy on several occasions. And he could always light up a room, make people feel better just by being around him. And this song embodies his life, I believe. And the underlying message is we can't control what happens to us around us, but how we respond is absolutely the choice. Noah chose, and his family chose, to live life to the fullest every day. We can all learn by that. He's truly an inspiration. He was born to fly, just like this song says. It is my complete honor to be here with this song meant something to him. So this goes out to you, buddy, today, and every time I play it, I remember you. We choose living. So stop believing because they lost their faith. Some stop moving, they end up stuck in place. That ain't you, and that ain't me. 'Cause we never had the luxury of giving up, slowing down. We are the dreamers. We were born to fly, reaching for the skies. We love to prove them wrong each and every time. Oh, we're gonna hold our ground when reality pushes down. While they're all busy quitting, we choose living. Some stop trying before they even start. Some stop loving just to protect their hearts. That ain't you, that ain't me. 'Cause we wear our soul out on our sleeve for everyone to see. We are the dreamers. Yeah, we were born to fly, reaching for the sky. We love to prove them wrong each and every time. Oh, we're gonna hold our ground when reality pushes down. They're all busy quitting. We choose living. This path is called on us. It takes strength, it takes guts. Every time we fall down, we're gonna get back up. 'Cause that is you, that is me. We are all right here. This old world, better just watch out. We are the dreamers. We were born to fly, reaching for the sky. We love to prove them wrong each and every time. Oh, we're gonna hold our ground. Reality pushes down. While they're all busy quitting, living while they're taking what they're given. We choose living. Noah, continue to inspire us all.
To make sense of what I'm going to say, you have to understand most of you have known Noah and his family longer than I. So your memories and thoughts and remembrances of the family and of Noah are much deeper and personal. And I think somebody somewhere along the line ought to compile a book about the impact Noah's made on your lives. I'm not a writer. So I will begin by saying this. My first acquaintance with Noah was at the church where I came as a pastor, associate pastor. And I learned quickly that Noah paid attention to the clock. I find it ironic that this year, in a sport he loved, they introduced a pitch clock. So I'm on the clock, both ways. You will hear this afternoon both memories and influences and memories and words and actions of Noah Martin. I will simply ask two questions and let those who have clearly better memories and abilities to express them share them with you. The first question is, what did Noah Marker do to you? Let me give you my point of reference. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Now, Noah was strategically placed in the aisle in the church, and I always watched his fingers. Time was up. Now, he was the most patient, forgiving person I knew. But I knew when I was done. See, there is what Noah did to me. He sharpened my sense of time. He sharpened my sense of tenacity. I cannot think of a moment today where he didn't remind me that I quit too easily. You cannot examine his life and never think of it. You see, what Noah Marker did to you is to cause you to stop and look into your heart and your mind from this moment forward and pull out of the file catalog everything that he did to you. There's not enough space in the file for all of this like that. Another question. What did Noah Marker do for you? Again, my point of reference comes from a world leader. Psalm 90, verse 12. Moses said this, teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Again, remembering Noah, you turn from looking inward to looking outward and see the impact he made on your lives moving forward. It's an interesting change of words in that verse. The word gain means to present. And quite simply, what Noah Marker did for me was make me stop and appreciate every moment and second that I've been granted and appreciate the precious commodity of time, because we all share the same thing. What did he do for me? He taught me never to quit when I wanted to. He taught me to stop feeling sorry for myself. He taught me that things I think I cannot do, I could do if I push myself to that. So now I'm going to keep my word this morning. I'm going off the clock. You did things to me that will never leave me. You did things for me that I will always appreciate and will always bring those things to my mind, even after the day is over with. And we will do these things together. We will do them for Marty and Christy and Andrew, Kane and the rest of the family and the extended family and everybody who ever came close to Noah Marker. Noah never got to see his graduation day from MU. But here's the thing about him, as Jürgen Getzmann says, man is always aiming at something. I just wonder what was next. Man is always aiming at something that was next. And so, friends and extended family, today you have an important job to do from this day forward. An old Swedish proverb that says, friendship doubles our joy and divides our grief. So how are we going to move forward from this day? Together. Together. So I want to simply say something to Marty and Christy. I hope you will allow me. Teach us to number our days. You had more than any of us. From my inferior calculations, you had 8,395 days, 201,480 hours, 12,088,800 minutes, 725,328,000 seconds to enjoy that bright, energetic, contagious young man. Off the clock more. Words from Andrew, of course.
So, as Marion said, my name's Andy, and I'm Noah's oldest brother. I felt compelled to stand and speak on behalf of my family, speak to my family, to all of you who know. On behalf of my family, thank you for the outpouring and support. Your kind words, messages, and prayers have all been felt deeply. This continues to overwhelm us. And just know that we're grateful. Right now, we ask for privacy. In time, you will see us again at Friday night football games on the sidelines. You'll see us frequently at the cable watching the Royals. And if you give us a minute, in no time, we're going to be back to aggravating you with pictures on Facebook of us on a boat in a faraway sea. Everybody knows Noah loved baseball. I do take credit for the development of this passion. He was drawn to, it must have been hundreds, maybe thousands of baseball games over the years, and he didn't miss a single one of my baseball games. But by the time we were adults, his love for the game far surpassed mine. And so I thought it was only appropriate to share a couple of our baseball stories. Noah participated in an adaptive baseball league. Actually, they did all sports. The YMCA Challengers. Every week, we would go to his games and watch him have a blast playing a game that he loved. Didn't matter the sport. Didn't matter who he was with. That program was supported in part by a charity dinner organized by Mark Tien, third baseman for the Royals at the time. Noah and Mark became good friends over the years. And he always went out of his way to make time for Noah and family. To our disappointment, Mark was traded to the Chicago White Sox in 2009. And while this was unpleasant news, it did give us a convenient excuse to go see him play on the south side of Chicago and visit another MLB stadium. It was a family goal of ours to see a game at every park. Mark had gotten injured before our trip and was not expected to play. But he was still looking forward to hosting us, and we were going to go and hang out. And unfortunately, the day of the game, Mark was sent to their, I believe it was their AA affiliate, to start his rehab stint on his injury. And he wouldn't be able to see us. But the White Sox, however, were amazing hosts. They gave us unprecedented access to their facilities, players, field, coaches, and Noah made another pretty unlikely friend. For those who don't know baseball real well, Ozzie Guillen was the manager of the White Sox at the time and had quite a reputation. He was gruff, intimidating, hot-headed, and a firecracker of a coach who frequently would argue with umpires, players, anybody who would yell back at him. Ozzie introduced himself to Noah, and they talked about baseball for what was probably 45 minutes or an hour. And anybody who came in or out of the dugout through the tunnel, Ozzie would bring him over, call him, and introduce us. And we became big fans of him after that day. Now this next, picture is going to be hard for a lot of you to believe. Following that experience, anytime the White Sox came to Kansas City, we made a point to try and go to the game. And every time, Ozzy was just as willing to take time and catch up with Noah. On one of the occasions, he asked the family to come into the clubhouse. So we go to the stadium, go down to the clubhouse level. But security denied access because mom was in the group and it's a men's locker room. That was not satisfactory to Ozzy Guillen. So he ran out of the locker room in his underwear to visit with Noah and Kane. We were at another game later that season, and Noah and Kane were put up on Crown Vision, playing the White Sox, so Ozzy was there. And it was just some random point in the middle of the game, and they go up on the Crown Vision, and Ozzy Guillen, I swear, comes jumping out of the dugout, waving and pointing, you know, right where we were sitting and showing us to look at the screen. Only Noah could charm one of the hottest heads in baseball and to talk ball with anyone. Noah also made good friends with Jeff Montgomery and Joel Goldberg of the Royals. Pre and post game broadcast show. After every game we went to, every single one, it was tradition to wait by the broadcast booth until security tried to kick us out. And then Jeff, Joel, and Randy on their production team would vouch for us and stay until the show was over and we could visit with them. Noah and Joel, I think, got so chummy. This was, I guess, just over a week ago, maybe 2 weeks. We had tickets to the Royals game, and there was rain forecast. So we're trying to, figure out what the day's going to look like and what we're going to do. What does Noah do? He texts Joel Goldberg. Says, hey, what's going on? Again, only Noah gets to text Joel Goldberg about weather updates. This is my last but favorite of the baseball stories. On one of our quests to visit every MLB stadium, we found ourselves at Wrigley Field on the north side of Chicago. Whenever possible, we tried to get field passes and stadium tours before games. We were able to in this case. Stadium staff walked us around the complex, led us on the field. Now, Wrigley Stadium is known for its famous outfield ivy wall. And Marty, in his endless creativity, decided that we should borrow some because he wanted to plant it on our terraced pond in the backyard and have Wrigley Field ivy in our backyard. So we all discreetly walked over to the wall. We pick one out and we walk back and try and stuff it somewhere. And I took a picture of Noah, taking some of his ivy. And we went about our day. Had a wonderful trip to Chicago. Woke up for the next morning, turned on Sports Center because so it turns out that very night after that game, two men really had broken into Wrigley Field to steal ivy. And I thought that was appropriate to post on Facebook. So Noah unquestionably loved the Royals and the Chiefs. He was known to watch every single game. I mean, every single game, win or lose. I just learned this week, Mom took his phone away from him at my wedding because he was sitting in the back of the chapel watching the Royals. I'm beyond grateful that he got to witness them win a World Series and a Super Bowl. I know those were highlights of his lifetime. And at the time, it was for me too. However, I now understand that that journey was way more significant than the destination. Having a partner in Noah to experience that journey meant so much more. I was blessed to have an impeccable partner. Storybook finale. Noah was also the true definition of what it means to be a Tiger. Graduated from Excelsior Springs High School in 2018, and he embodied the district motto: inspire, empower, and challenge. Noah was an inspiration to all of us, proving what can be accomplished with hard work and faith. It's proven by the countless people who are here today and grieving elsewhere. I often question if I can achieve my own ambitions, overcome my own shortcomings. As I reflect on Noah's accomplishments, considering the adversities he faced, my hesitations are few. Noah is that inspiration and motivation to persevere. And he embodied it with grace and humility. I trust he had a similar impact on all of you. He was empowered by countless family and friends, teachers, mentors, care workers, peers. And he often advocated for the empowerment of others as well. He was never reluctant to take on a challenge and always forged a pathway to success. It's because of everyone here that that was possible. Noah also sought to empower others. He was always committed to serving and giving back to those who helped him. I think of the impression Variety Kansas City and the YMCA Challengers made on our family. And I know he made a difference for them as well. He took on an enormous challenge when he was accepted into the journalism school at Mizzou to study sports journalism. This was a goal of his for as long as I can remember. And I was cautiously apprehensive about the ambitions, considering the reputation of Mizzou's journalism program, arguably the best in the nation, the hardest to get into. The logistics of commuting to Columbia daily for classes, internships, it made for many long days of hard and rigorous work. No one ever blinked at these obstacles. And he confronted the opportunity with determination and perseverance, just as he had done his entire life. And as a surprise to nobody, he succeeded. Inspire, empower, and challenge. He was a Tiger, monumentally more than an emblem on a shirt or a sleeve. There's so many people that deserve to be recognized and thanked for what they've done for Noah and our family. I realize I can't get to everyone, but there are a few that I couldn't live without addressing. Ashley, Heather, Francis, Noah loved you like family, and we consider you part of ours. I feel that I can never repay you for what you've done for our family. You always gave Noah the best care, and went above and beyond anything we could have expected or wished for. Our extended family, the Markers and the Neals, each one of you has played a significant role in Noah's life. What a great blessing to have the amount of love and support you bestowed upon him. We love each and every one of you. And we don't say that often enough. but trust that your role in our lives has been immeasurable. Noah treasured and always looked forward to the many gatherings we shared. He will always be with us when we're together again, because he lives through each of you. And we see it clear as the morning sun. Morants, you have been a constant source of support and companionship for our entire family. The positive impact you've made on us is impossible to overstate. There is never hesitation to be with us in times of need or celebration. Whether down the street for dinner or across the globe, literally trying to navigate a packed beach, you're always there and looking for ways to help. This instinct has not faltered in nearly 2 years, and I know it won't in the future. I honestly don't know how we would have gotten through these weeks without you. Thank you so much for taking on this burden with compassion and thoughtful gratitude. Cameron, Noah loved you like a brother. I know this because I was jealous. The four of us have spent many late nights playing games together, and we take that seriously. But I cherish the conversations we had. There are inside jokes and heroic gaming moments that we'll share forever. I know being a friend of Noah's wasn't always easy. Getting around is a bit more of a hassle. Sometimes we have to scale our experiences based on accessibility. And I'm certainly not the coolest crowd to hang out with. But none of that seems to bother me. You've taught me how to be a better brother. And you've shown leadership and compassion well beyond your years. Thank you for always stepping in for me. Whenever I knew Noah was with you, I was confident he was well taken care of and having fun. It gave me peace then, and it helps me now. So thank you. Okay. There are no words I can say to make this better. I know the relationship you had now goes beyond description, both in complexity and depth. Everyone can see the bond that you had. It was often the impression you left on everyone else. Noah lived a fulfilled life, in part due to your companionship. I want to share something with you that has helped me. I came across this interview the night before we lost Noah, and I happened to save it because I thought it would be useful one day. The interviewer asked, "What punishments of God are not gifts? Do you really believe that?" The answer, yeah. It's a gift to exist. And with existence comes suffering. There's no escaping that. But if you are grateful for your life, you have to be grateful for all of it. Literally walking down the street, I was struck by this realization that I have gratitude for the pain of that grief. It doesn't take the pain away. It doesn't make the grief less profound. In some ways, it makes it more profound because it allows you to look at it. Everybody is suffering, however imperfectly. Acknowledge their suffering. Connect with them and love them in a deep way that makes you grateful for the fact that you have suffered, so that you can know that about other people. I want to be the most human I can be, and that involves acknowledging and ultimately being grateful for the things I wish didn't happen, because they gave me a gift. I want to reiterate, I'm here for you always. Noah was fiercely proud of you, and he looked up to you as much as you looked up to him. We're going to get through this together. We're going to champion Noah's legacy forever as well. Marty, there are so many things I want to say, but I can't. And it's not for lack of authenticity or desire. It's lack of vocabulary. Although I want to try. I love you very much. I've always considered me a son and raised me true to that endeavor. Without that commitment, I would not be the man I am today. As a dad now, I strive to emulate your care, compassion, and leadership. I am beyond certain you were everything Noah could desire as a father. And I know that because I've lived it. Your lifelong dedication to caring for others and advocating for those in need, and tirelessly working allowed Noah to live a life others would envy. Like you, I'm struggling to accept the reality of the situation. But you should take comfort in knowing that you have been the gold standard of fathers and men. Noah wouldn't have asked for anything more or less. On a lighter note, one of the things you might not know about Noah and our family is that we love roundabouts. When Marty's driving. Anytime we're on an adventure and we come across a roundabout, we make at least one extra trip around the intersection, chanting loop-de-loop, and we spin our fingers loop-de-loop. That started because it was a favorite of Noah's growing up. And by the time that it embarrassed him or annoyed him, we were doing it for King. And now that my kids are old enough to enjoy the tradition, you look back at Noah, and he would grin ear to ear, spinning his fingers, and watch my kids laugh. Excitement is never far away with some imagination and ambition, both of which can be found in Marty. Our recent trip feels like an existential experience. We never had that kind of time, just the three of us. It was much different than most of our adventures, and the three of us are all content to sit in the sun and let the days slip away. So that's what we did. We told old stories, did deep personal conversations, and we enjoyed each other's company. I'll treasure those moments forever. Noah was lucky to have me for a multitude of reasons. I've witnessed the diligence and the hard work it has taken to not merely provide for, but to enrich him in his life. Noah had many lifetimes worth of experiences thanks to your dedication. But I also think you gave him his best quality. Noah was selfless, always considering the needs and wishes of others before his own. He would gratefully partake in any kind of adventure we could dream up, whether it was to his particular interest or not, and never complain. Noah hated to be the center of attention, but never missed an opportunity to witness the success of those he loved when it was their turn in the spotlight. This lack of ego and deep conviction and the power of building and supporting relationships was learned by watching your example. So I got two more short stories here. My favorite memory with Noah was competing with him. Like baseball, he followed my passion for esports. Once he was old enough, we started playing Call of Duty together. Kane jumped in, Cameron, and then Kendra, who became a sister of the group. It turns out we were pretty solid as a team and decided to enter a professional tournament. Now keep in mind, we have 2 adults, Noah, who was maybe our best player, and 2 middle schoolers. Talking mom into paying an entry fee, dragging all of our equipment to the venue that was a tall task. We had to twist her arm. But she took us. And we didn't play well. It was a bloodbath. But I remember kind of having this realization that it was the first time that Noah and Kane had stepped between the lines of the field of play in a way that was truly fair, accessible, and people were trying to beat them. And I remember the size of mom's eyes because she didn't. And we get there and we get all set up and then we start competing and people are shouting across the room at each other like we would at any other sporting events in the nights. We're all bunged up big. She tells me how she was always so nervous when I was on the mound pitching. And looked to me like that was the same kind of thing she had that day. On a little bit better of a story though, later that year, Noah Kane and I entered a separate event. It was just 3 people. And that event was going pretty good. We beat several teams and eventually ran into a team of professional content creators for the Kansas City Pioneers, a local esports team. And we competed like warriors. Noah and Kane played better than I had ever seen. They moved as a perfect pair around the map and kept us in the match. We lost that semifinal by a score of 6-4, and it was me who missed an opportunity to tie the match. I always loved teaching them the intricacies of esports, competition, and teamwork. It was then, though, that I knew, however, the students had surpassed the mastery. It validated what I knew my brothers were capable of. And it meant my dedication for esports was deeper than an obsession. It was an experience that married my love of sports, my brother's love of sports, with competition, with people I love in a deeply fulfilling, accessible way. My parents always told me how much Noah looked up to me, but I found myself looking up to him. The qualities that others admired about him served to me as an example about how to go about life. Noah confronted these challenges with courage and tranquility. His ability to maintain optimism and calmness was unlimited. I remember the day Noah was born. As a young boy, it was impossible for me to reconcile the gravity of the situation my family was facing. What I do recall was the strength and fortitude my parents showed. It gave me confidence to remain collected in a very tumultuous time. I believe Noah adopted these qualities because of the resilience and courage exhibited by our parents. They transformed into the strongest team I have yet to know. Not once do I recall Noah showing fear, despite unconscious of those circumstances. Even when our family was overwhelmed with stress, he was the foundation of human strength. It's been a hard year for our family, but there's something that keeps passing through my mind and helps and makes me smile. I know we lost Grandma Margaret last fall. And I keep thinking she did not waste a second. Getting hard to work, making accommodations to take care of her baby boy while they wait for us. Knowing that they reunited and that she has everything prepared and waiting for him to get some peace. I'm confident they're watching us now, beaming with pride. Noah's very embarrassed. And Grandma's making sure they eat well. Noah, I honestly struggle to think about how to go on without you. You're my best friend. Not once did you hold a grudge or lose faith in me. It was on your shoulders that I made it through some of the most difficult parts of my life. I'll miss finding a spot to hang out together so we didn't have to be around people. I'll miss late night conversations where we would talk for hours endlessly. I'll miss having someone to play games with. I'll miss a lot. But I will always be so proud of you. You'll live in me forever. I see pieces of you and my kids already. I'll always be guided by your example as I raised them. Thank you for being my perfect brother. I know you would tell me to press on, so I will. I promise to take care of Kenny. I promise to be there for our parents. I promise to love Jamie and Ella extra for you. So I'll close with a quote from Noah's favorite TV show, The Office. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've left me. I think that's a good thought for all of us to reflect on. We had our fair share of good old days. They're going to be with you always.
Down on my knees again tonight. I'm hoping this prayer will turn out right. See, there is a boy that needs your help. I've done all that I can do myself. Mother is tired, I'm sure you can understand. Each night as he sleeps, she goes in to hold his hand, and she tries not to cry as the tears fill her eyes. Can you hear me? Am I getting through tonight? Can you see late at night I watch him sleep. I dream of the boy he'd like to be. I try to be strong and see him through. But God, who he needs right now is you. Let him grow old. Live life without this fear. What would I be? Living without him here. He's so tired and he's scared. Let him know that you're there. Can you hear me? Am I getting through tonight? Can you see him? Can you make him feel alright? You can hear me. Let me take his place somehow. See, he's not just anyone. He's my son. Can you hear me? Am I getting through tonight? Can you see him? Can you make him feel alright? You can hear me. Let me take his place somehow. See, he's not just anyone. Can you hear me? Can you see him? Please don't leave him. He's my son.
Hello. Brandon Blanc. My family has had the pleasure of being friends with the Markers for many years. My mother and Kane have spent many, many days and time together. I had the pleasure of being Marty's pastor. And I'm grateful to pass me years. I haven't had a lot of interaction with Noah. Most of my interaction with Noah was my mom telling me a story about Cain. And then Noah got placed in. And then I would show up at a football game. And then I would find myself talking to Cain. And find myself talking to Noah. And then I'd find myself talking to Cain while he was talking to Noah via FaceTime. Because there was a WWE show on. And he wanted to see who was winning. The moment said, turn the phone around. I want to see what's going on. And I got sucked into their family, much like many of you. They're an easy family to get sucked into. They're a joy to be connected with. Today, I want to tell you that the Bible says, and I want to give you some encouragement before we leave, but in John chapter 14, Jesus is preparing to die. He's going to leave his friends, and he leaves them with a word of encouragement. And it's not, hey, don't mess it up. Hey, I'm leaving all this in your hands, and it's a big job. I'm the Son of God, and you're going to need to know how to do this. But his first words of encouragement before he left the earth were simply this: do not let your hearts be troubled. And I would say that's the most encouraging word that anybody could ever give you. It's the voice of a mother holding a child and let your heart be troubled. It's the song of a grandparent rocking in the chair. It's the feeling of home. It's Christmas. It's all the things that we long for. It's simply wrapped up in the statement, do not let your hearts be troubled. And our bodies, our lives, our existence are more than just what we see and feel and experience. What we love about Noah is not all the things we saw when he was sitting in his chair. What we loved was his soul. It was his mind, his will, his emotions. It's what the Bible calls the heart. That's why we're here now. We're sad, we're grieving, because we know that Noah's body is here. His limitations that he had before are greater than ever now because he can't do anything unless he can. Unless his soul, the part we love, his personality, and all the numbers and digits and names that are running through his mind of all the great players, they exist somewhere. But they're more than just electrical impulses. They are a person. And that is the heart of the human. So when Jesus was telling his closest disciples, do not let your hearts be troubled, he's not saying that it's not going to be hard, and you're going to have some hard days, and you're going to have some mountains to climb. And he's not saying that everything's going to be breezy. What he's saying is that do not let the inner person of who you are be troubled. And this is why he says that. You believe in God, right? Believe also in me. My Father's house has many mansions. If that were not so, I wouldn't even have told you. I wouldn't even have brought it up if it weren't reality. And I'm going to prepare a place for you so that where I go, you could be also. I will come back and take you to be with me so that where I am, maybe you are also where I am. And you know the way to where I'm going. And Jesus would say, I am the way. I am. The realities of life are not the issues. The issues are your heart. Will you or will you not let it be troubled? And Jesus promises that he was going to prepare a place that you also could go and be with him. And that's the reality Noah is living in. The Bible says that he's having a feast, a great banquet. And I would venture to say that as he lifted his finger to the Son of God, said, excuse me, sir, none of this will do. I need 2 cheese enchiladas and a Dr. Pepper, please. His heart is not troubled. His heart is not troubled. And bring me the vat of cheese dip, some extra tortilla chips. Do not let your hearts be troubled. That the Royals losing the game to a walk-off home run, do not let your hearts be troubled. Rain delay, do not let your hearts be troubled. The limitations of life, do not let your hearts be troubled. And we've made that clear today. Noah lived without limitations. He was pursuing the mountaintop experience. One of my greatest kind of realities, and Marty brought it up to me, was one of his greatest joys. Was first time I saw Noah, he was marching in the band. When I say marching in the band, meant Marty was working his lungs to the core, pushing Noah around so that the reality of the music inside of Noah could come to life. So the marching wasn't the issue or the problem, it was the life inside of him that had to be released. And so that was a great triumph for him. It was something that he got to do, a mountain that he got to climb and experience because the reality of the world would not let his heart be troubled. Marty told me about this first mile run, and I remember my mom telling me about the mile run with Kane, and I thought, man, that's got to be tough, and they would have to push, and how strenuous it would be. And Marty told me, he said, I remember the first time you finished the mile run, and they were crying and backing him up, and it was 45 minutes of him. He finally made the lap. I thought, man, I thought the mile run was bad on me, but not for Noah. There's no limitations on Noah. He's going to climb the mountain and not let his heart be troubled. He said the greatest joy they had was that everyone cheered Noah on. because they understood what it meant for Noah to climb that mountain. That mountain is the place where he has the triumphs. It was a challenge, but it wasn't something that he was going to let his heart be troubled with. When Noah heard that there was a contest that someone could throw out the first pitch at Kauffman Stadium, if they raised enough money, that wasn't a challenge. He was going to climb the mountain, and he was going to make sure Kane was there to catch the ball for him. And he was going to for sure throw it better than Travis Kelce. And so he raised all the money. There was no limitation for him. He was going to finish and climb the mountain no matter what it took, because he would not let his heart be troubled. He would not let his heart be troubled. He had an affinity to rise to the occasion, and I think that's why he loves sports so much. He loved to see elite athletes rise to the occasion, conquer adversity, and let something that was in the human heart grow and excel and conquer, because they wouldn't let their hearts be troubled by the circumstances. And that's what Noah did every single day. I love Andy's stories and how he brought to life that Noah would travel from here to MU, a 2-hour commute, and back, so that he could live his dream of being an MU Tiger. He wanted to be an MU Tiger so bad, and even his dad tried to convince him to be a Jayhawk. But Noah would not let that mountain hinder him. He was going to be a Tiger. And he went and said, I want to be a broadcast journalist. He's going there, and he's doing the work, and he's producing shows for news networks before he's even graduated. And then driving 2 hours home, not letting his heart be troubled. Not letting his heart be troubled. And he's already told us he's made friends with celebrities, and he would hang out, and he would make sure that no security guard was going to keep him from his friends. He would do whatever it took because he wouldn't let his heart be troubled. The circumstances are not the issue. The heart is the issue. Don't let the heart be troubled. So it's no wonder that Jesus would come to us and say, do not let your heart be troubled. That's the key. No matter the circumstances, no matter what you're facing, no matter the tragedy, no matter the things of this world, it's not the world that will get you down. It's your heart. Do not let your hearts be troubled. The Word of God tells us that Jesus was so bent on having his heart right that he would actually climb the mountain, just like Noah was climbing these imaginary mountains, these things that were not going to be a problem for him. And Jesus would climb the mountain, and the Bible says that when he climbed the mountain, he would meet with God, because he understood that meeting with God at the top of the mountain was the place where your heart could find relief. It was the place that you could not let your heart be troubled. So Jesus did. His sister-in-law told me that she always said that Noah had the perfect lot in life. Most of us would say, well, I don't know. I imagine it's how hard it would be, and all the trauma, tragedy, and how difficult it was. But she said he had a perfect lot in life. He was given something essentially by God, something he had to deal with and fight against, and he was given the perfect parents for that situation. His mother was the physical therapist, go figure. His father was working in special education, so any limitations he might have in education, he would fill in the gaps, that they together would come together and build a force that would give everything Noah he needed to succeed. And he would tell you that there are no limitations, because he was convinced that he would not let his heart be troubled. See, Jesus went up to the mountain to find God, because that's the key to not letting your heart be troubled. In the Bible, God describes himself with one word: his love. That's the way that he describes his whole entire being. God is love. This is what it says. It says, "Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves God is born of God and knows God, and whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love." Jesus would go and meet with his Father so that he could exist in this love relationship, and he would go on to die on a cross and do incredible things that we would say that's impossible, but he wouldn't let his heart be troubled because of the love that existed. I asked the family, I said, what's some things that Noah liked to do? You know, what do you enjoy? And his mother said, Noah liked a lot of things, but he really just liked to be together. Back in my mind, I'm thinking, that feels a lot like love. I said, what was Noah's favorite place to go? And they visited, pretty much every baseball stadium. They hung out with Ozzie Ian in his underwear. Hello. They go on cruise about once a month. Send us all beach pictures. Swimming with dolphins, and I'm thinking, good God. Hang out with you guys more often. But in every one of those pictures was what? Love. Love. It didn't matter where they were, they had love. And it's funny, I said, what is Noah's greatest place to visit, because you've been everywhere. And she said, I would say probably Panama City Beach. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's a great place. They have beautiful beaches, and there's a fish place down. I remember it, went in, it's so great. Yeah, and she says, no, we just stayed in a house the whole trip. And we were just together. What do you mean? Well, we just didn't do much. We cooked at the house. We hung out together. Noah just liked to be together. And I started thinking about all the mountains that he climbed and all the achievements he had. And he got to live his dream. And he got to meet all these people. And he got to throw the first pitch out. And man, he's got such a great life, And out of all of that, the mountain that he loved to climb the most was the mountain where he could be in love with his family. So no wonder he had the strength to not let his heart be troubled. No wonder he had the passion to pursue whatever it was in his front. No wonder he didn't get discouraged at the adversity, because he had love. And I would venture to say that if you don't have God, you don't have love. That even when you don't even know if you have God or not, you're loving someone, that love comes from inside of you because God placed it there. And it's a triangle. It's God, and it's you, and it's the people around you. It's this inner working, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have a power greater than yourself to not let your heart be troubled. And you're going to have some love from that power. And you're going to have to give it away to others. But you're also going to have to receive love. Because Noah had great love from everyone around him. They fed him with love, and it gave him the power to climb the mountains. And it's an existence that happens in our humanity. And God describes it as this: God is love. And if you don't love, you don't know God. You've got to receive love, and you've got to give love. And if you don't, your heart will be troubled. So I would say you are going to have to return to the place that you know will give you the strength you need to make it. Today, tomorrow, next week, next month, every Christmas, every holiday, every vacation, everything. And you think, man, I just miss Noah. And I'll tell you this: Noah is in a place where his heart is not troubled. The Bible says there's no tears in heaven, so he's not crying over you, but I bet you his heart's breaking a little bit. I'm thinking, man, I wish they would just understand how good the enchiladas are. I wish they could just understand how wonderful it is to be wrapped up in perfect love. I wish they could understand what it's like to live life with God in perfection. 1 Corinthians 13, it says this: love is patient, love is kind. Love does not envy, does not boast, is proud, doesn't dishonor others, is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but just rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres, and it says, love never fails. That passage describes to me a certain title, a certain overarching name. I would say it's God. And it's also the martyrs. God is love, and they live it every single day. And that's who Noah is. So what did Noah like to do? He said, well, he liked to lay in the sun. I said, that's what he liked to do. I'm thinking in my head, that's what he liked to do. Any day that he could. And I'm thinking, well, maybe Panama City Beach. I'd like, so no, just the front porch. You just go on the front porch, rain sun. James Jared go out there every day that he could. He would there and would fall asleep in the sun. And I thought, my God, how special is it that Noah had the idea that I will just lay here and rest in the thing that makes me feel better. And I would say that Noah was resting in love. What you're going to need these days, the next days, is you're going to need love. And what if every time you thought, I'm not going to make it, it just hurts, and it's just something I don't know, I don't understand it, and God, why did this happen? And you go through all of those things. What if you're just like Noah and just sat in the sun of the love of God? Just fell asleep. And you didn't let your heart be troubled. Do not let your heart be troubled. Do not let your heart be troubled. You're going to need God and you're going to need each other. You're going to have to receive love even when it feels like you don't want to take the medicine, but the medicine is love. And every time you're patient, and every time you're understanding, and every time you're kind, and every time you're living like God describes himself here in Corinthians, you will love. And you'll have the power to climb the mountain. It's not that you can I pray with you today? Father, I thank you for my friends in this room who come here to honor their great friend Noah. I thank you for the truth that is, you are more powerful than we are. I thank you for the strength that says, even though the world may come crashing down, if we have love, we cannot let our hearts be troubled. That joy can flow in places where sorrow is. That beauty can come from places where ashes are. That we can laugh in the face of danger, and we would have the tenacity to live like Noah, never taking no for an answer and always walking forward up the mountain no matter the circumstance, because we are willing to not let our hearts be troubled and give them the encouragement that Noah today is no longer troubled ever. Nor will he ever be. He is living in absolute perfection. And he is thinking about his friends here, saying, God, please don't let their hearts be troubled. Do not let their hearts be troubled. Father, we thank you for the life of Noah. We thank you for the Marker family. I pray a special blessing. I pray that you would be near to the brokenhearted. You would bind up their wounds. You would soothe hurts, and you would give them hope for today. In Jesus' name. We're going to have the fight song because Andy says he was the best tiger of all time, both in high school, and he wasn't settled. He had to take it on to graduate school. And so he is a tiger through and through. Thank you to the Martin family. We love you so much. All of us love you. Wow. Thank you for giving us such great truth about this.